And again, you can lay down the whole room.
We're going to meet at 10 Mile Lake Provincial Park, north of Quesnel, and it has kind of a section of first come, first serve on the first part in, and then down towards the lake. You know, that's where all the people go to spend their 2 weeks.
He says 10 Mile Lake Quesnel.
10 Mile Lake Provincial Park, and it's north of Quesnel.
Which is
on
Friday.
97.
Which is the Friday the 27th.
Friday, yeah.
Okay, so we're meeting there. Okay.
Harvey, Brian, and I were the first to arrive at the rendezvous.
Greetings, fellas.
How you guys doing? You made it.
Miles and Eric rolled in next.
Good. How are you?
Good to see you.
I thought Soda Creek was good.
Swap tongues? What's that?
I'd rather
I
swap.
thought Soda Creek was good.
Would you stop there?
No,
You just like the name?
I thought telling you I was at Soda Creek would get you going.
Welcome.
Peter and his dog Maggie a little bit later. Maggie would play a major role in our adventure. More on that later. Meanwhile, we made dinner and gave the newcomers a chance to relax after a 650-kilometer drive from Vancouver.
No, it really is, actually.
We also learned that the campfire ban, which had been in place since June, had been lifted earlier that day. Great news. Next morning, we were on the road to the trailhead. As soon as we hit the gravel, we stopped to air down, and Eric checked his maps.
So where are we and where are we going?
This thing is not getting a GPS signal all of a sudden. But we should be somewhere in there.
After a couple of false starts, we found the track. We were on the Alexander Mackenzie Trail. And it was easy peasy. At this rate, we'd be done by dinner. The tight town crossing camp was a beaut. In fact, the camping was easily one of the highlights of the trip, as we had one great spot after another. It's Sunday, August 29th, and we are heading into Cluscoil Lake Provincial Park, at the heart of the Alexander Mackenzie Trail. We came well equipped to deal with the deadfall blocking the trail. This was the first of many. The constant irritation is that people cut the down trees just wide enough for their vehicles and no wider. This made life difficult for Harvey pulling the trailer, so when we cut, we made sure to make the path extra wide. Remember when I said this was going to be easy peasy? Well, that was yesterday. Today, the AMAC track showed its true personality. Narrow, slow, and extremely rough. We are averaging 3 kilometers an hour. No wonder Mackenzie walked. A forest fire ripped through here in 2017, laying waste to hundreds of hectares. It's still a very eerie place to be. If you're looking for a fun activity, you might want to try stealing a truck in Quesnel and then seeing how far down the AMT you can make it. Whoever stole this old Dodge made it a bit over 100 kilometers before deciding it was better suited for target practice. I took the shift knob as a souvenir. A full day of four-wheel driving got us a sum total of 19 kilometers. Slower than expected. But our reward was a spectacular spot beside Kluskoil Lake. Our pace is slower and our fuel consumption is higher than expected. We're not entirely sure we have enough gas to pull this off.
How many empty, how many full?
I've got one left.
I've put in 20 liters. I'm at probably 5/8 of a tank now, and I've got another 75 on top.
Okay. One way or another, I guess we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think in a couple days, then we can see if we need to make a side trip to pick up.
Yeah, like you said, we'll get a baseline of
Yeah.
how much we're using.
Yeah, and I think you need to travel a few days to get that baseline.
Harvey's decision to stage this trip in late August is proving to be the correct one. The AMT is pretty dry, the bugs are minimal, and there are comparatively few trees across the road. I said comparatively. We're out of the park and on our way to the much anticipated Pan Meadow crossing of the Blackwater River. It's good practice to walk the crossing before you drive it. Eric and Peter volunteered for the job. Thanks to Peter and Eric's excellent recon, we get all four trucks across safely and make camp on the other side. This morning we're back on the main drag, making a beeline for Kluskoil Village. The 40 minutes it takes us to drive to the village effectively gives us an extra day of first gear low range work. Just past Kluskoil Village we encountered this giant pile of logs. However, after some clever engineering by Peter and Harvey and some grunt work by Eric and Miles, we were able to move through.
Forward! Up! Good! Go! Passenger! Passenger! Straight! Out! Straighten out! You're home!
It wasn't clear if the roadblock was by design or by accident. No one from the village took the slightest interest in what we were doing, and we didn't infringe on their bubble either. A couple of dogs from the village joined us at the next obstacle. Off Camber Corner on the edge of a sheer drop followed by a steep descent into a deep mud hole at the water's edge. What's not to like?
Hey! Dog, get out of there! Good! Keep coming like you are! That's good! Good. Good. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep going. No, no. Keep them. Don't turn. No, no, no. Keep it a little bit passenger. Keep coming straight. Yep. Straight. Whoa. Take it easy. Yep. Whoa. Straight. You're good. Straight. Straight. Driver. Yep. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming.
Straighten your wheels.
Straight. Driver. To driver.
More driver.
No, no, no. Okay, go back. Turn it the other way, your steering wheel. No, the other way. Other way. Other way. That's it. Now come straight ahead. Straight. No. There. Straight. Like that. You gotta get out of the bog. Yeah. Yes, you're out.
Once again, we were lucky. Shortly after the hill and the mud, we came to a big clearing beside the lake. Another perfect camping spot. The dogs from the village stayed the night. The male eventually went home, but the female hung around. We assumed she'd go home too when she was ready.
Is he nervous?
Yep.
Is he wishing he had a real truck?
There's
That'll be
no-
okay.
There's no rock under there.
Yeah, but his wheel on the left is hard, so that'll get him over that rock. It wasn't bad, but it took everything I had to get through. Right up, Miles.
Well, if you do it, anybody can.
Congratulations on pissing Harvey off.
Yeah, I wanted to see him winch.
The track took us through the Chadwell property, Father Jim and son Troy, second-generation homesteaders. They were very hospitable and helpful with their knowledge of the area. By now, the white girl dog had run nearly 30 kilometers. I asked him if we could tie her to his tractor while we got ahead. However, Troy didn't think much of that idea because he said it's not uncommon for native dogs to adopt new people. And he would have to untie her eventually, at which point she would try to follow us. So, now we have two dogs on the trip, Maggie and Mackenzie. The Chadwells told us about a sweet camp spot not far from their place on Tasha Lake, our new home for the night. The temperature dropped well below freezing last night, so the fellas were moving a little slow this morning. Back on track, we came across this cool remnant of times past. Literally a one-horse open sleigh. I put this bit in to show just how well Miles' saw was working.
Still there?
The bad news was this boggy bit caught Harvey off guard, but the good news was we got to winch. Using the Ranger as an anchor, we were soon back underway. We came to a junction saying Anaheim Lake to the right, Pan Phillips Ranch to the left. Harv and I went to the ranch for intel, while the others waited at the fork. Rob and Linda Phillips run the Pan Phillips Ranch, and these days it's more of a fishing resort than the working cattle ranch Rob's father built from nothing when he came from the States in the 30s. These days, guests fly in and pay $100 a day per person, and for that you get a boat, and a motor and a bunk in one of the cabins. Very nice people. They told us about another nice camping spot down by the Bailey Bridge over the river. The road on the other side of the bridge looked pretty good. We thought this might be the end of the difficult part. I guess we'll find out one way or the other tomorrow. We crossed the river expecting our last day on the AMAC would be an easy one. Wrong! The trail to Elligock Lake was as challenging as anything we had encountered. It was pretty though. It took us past a number of abandoned cabins. It looks like the occupants of this one didn't leave all that long ago. At Elligock Lake Lodge, we got some gas and directions back to civilizations. And that night, we camped at the Poison Lake wreck site not far from Anaheim Lake and reflected on what we'd accomplished.
It was lumpier. The rocks happening to go so slow. I thought we could do, second, third gear, maybe 15 kilometers an hour, 10. I didn't think it was going to be an average of 3 or 4 kilometers an hour for 6 days.
We learned a lot. How much fuel to take. We took more food than we needed. Everything worked out well.
Was it what you expected?
Yes, it was. I think it was. It wasn't harder. It was just longer.
Yeah.
Longer and wore you out because it was long. But otherwise, it was great.
Well, people think that the Alexander Mackenzie Heritage Trail is all about the gay sex. It's not only about the gay sex. It's about the adventure. It's about the camaraderie, the danger. And that's all I have to say about that.
Are you happy you came, so to speak?
Yes, I am happy that I came.
Better or worse than you imagined?
Better. No, I'm more tired than I thought I would be, but the adventure was better than I thought it might be.
I would have thought that one of the highlights for you would have been acquiring a new companion.
Yeah, that was not planned. Totally unexpected, but a fantastic adventure in itself. And that one has only begun and will hopefully continue for many years to come.
And the fact that we soldiered on no matter what, I think was pretty impressive.
I agree, but I also think, or I wonder, if you come away with a new appreciation for what Alex himself did back in the day.
You mean the Nook Salt Carrier Indians?
Yeah.
Not Alexander Mackenzie, but the real guys that busted the trail all the way from Bella Coola. I mean, it's got nothing to do with him. He was just a guy who showed up later like us.
Yeah. It could be called the Brian Tycho Heritage
Exactly.
As for me, well, I guess I would say that the Alexander Mackenzie Trail is something to be more endured than enjoyed. It was tough. It was really, really tough. Every time that we thought, oh, it's going to get better, we're about to kick out, every time we came to a major intersection thinking the road's about to improve, it didn't. And it kept getting more and more difficult and more technical right up to the very end. Harvey did an amazing job in negotiating the truck and trailer through this slalom course of pine trees all day. I think it was very taxing on him, but he did a great job. I'm very glad I did it. I won't be rushing back to do it again. It's a box ticked. And here's to anyone else who wants to try it. It's an epic adventure, that's for sure. It only seems right that we give the last word to the man responsible for making this entire trip a reality.
You planned it, you liked it, you did it. Are you rushing back?
No, I'll never do it again.